Welcome. Welcome, everyone, to a very special edition of the Radio Toons podcast. How's it going?
It's going good, man.
I'm Steve.
I'm Ernie.
Today we're trying a different setup. Okay, me and Ernie are actually connecting via satellite through the internet. Yeah. So we're gonna see how this works out.
Oh, boy.
Hopefully it's better.
Yeah, because we're trying to do it because we each have great PCs, but we're trying to do two inputs into one. It gets a little tricky. So we thought maybe if we both have our own mics and our own computers, come out a little better.
Yeah, let's hope it works better. But speaking of satellites and outer space, Ernie wanted to go to Area 51. Have you guys heard of that?
Okay, so it's a big story, right? That this Facebook group. This right here proves the stupidity of Facebook these days. But this Facebook group is planning an invasion. I don't know what you would call it, but they want to all show up at Area 51 and rush it.
Yeah.
So it's they'll let us in. And it's incredibly stupid for two reasons. One, why the hell do you want to go there? But two, it's a lot of people are posting underneath, and I don't know if they're trolls or not, but I bet they are. They're they can't stop all of us.
Oh yeah,
we're all gonna make it.
It's a joke, but it's funny because it got on some news network. I don't know what fucking state.
It was on I listened to this radio show, The Woody Show, in the morning, and it was all over that. It's weird.
Oh, okay. No, but it was legitimately on some news website where they were just this Facebook group wants to storm Area 51 on this day or something like that. Yeah.
So many Area 51 memes just going all over the place today.
It was probably the same news outlet that was can you guys stop flushing your meth down the toilet because we are afraid of meth gators.
Meth gators.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, that's how you got Leatherhead from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You flushed a bunch of meth down there and it did Leatherhead.
That's true. I forgot about Leatherhead.
Dude, how did you forget about Leatherhead? It's dope.
But yeah, so I don't know if you guys heard, aside from that, the Nintendo Switch is getting two revisions.
Two revisions. I actually only heard about this first one. Steven just filled me in a little bit before we started that we were getting one other one.
Yeah, so the Nintendo Switch Lite, that's a piece of junk. You're not going to want that one. You're going to...
Okay, I disagree, but keep going.
You might want to buy that one for maybe some little kid or something, you know. But there's a reissue of the Nintendo Switch coming out that just has extended battery life,
which I'm totally getting.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get it, but if it's the same price, which it seems like it is because it's just the new version of it,
right?
Then that's fucking awesome. You're getting free better battery basically for the price of the same. But just for the
same exact unit. Yeah, that's much better. But as far as the Nintendo Lite, I understand why people hate on it. I understand why people are like, fuck this thing. But as a person who plays it mostly in handheld, I'm very tempted to get it because it's $100 cheaper, so it's $200, roughly the price of a DS, right? And it's essentially just a big ass DS, you know.
I wonder if it has the SD card slot too. Then
it must. I actually don't know, but it's got to. My question is there some sort of way that I could have not only the regular Switch that I have on my TV at home, but can I also have a Switch Lite that carries both game saves across the whole thing? That would be great. Instead of taking the Switch that I carry at home, I just take the Switch Lite with me all the time.
I mean, but the Nintendo Switch can already do that.
I know.
Just undock it.
It just doesn't have great battery life.
Well, the Nintendo Switch Lite has a better battery life, right?
Yeah,
that's the one thing it has is because the fucking Joy-Cons are non-existent. It's all just one solid thing.
And it has a cross pad.
Yeah, it has a D-pad because everyone complains about the D-pad.
Right.
Which, by the way, is okay, what exactly are you playing that you need the D-pad? I guess Mario Maker?
No,
right?
I mean, in case you don't want to use a lot of people were like, I don't like the joystick. I like to play with if you're playing Smash, I know a lot of people who like to play Smash with a cross pad instead of the joystick.
I've never heard that.
Well, another game is that I think you have my copy of Street Fighter, and Street Fighter I don't play with the joystick. I play with the cross pad.
Because the cross pad in Smash Bros. I'm pretty sure it's just the taunts.
Sure.
But I mean, I guess some NES games. Whenever I play NES games on the Virtual Console, I just.
I definitely want to cross. That's why I use my 8-bit Duo instead.
Yeah, when we played Mario Brothers 2, we were using the Joy-Cons, weren't we? Or what were we using?
No, we were using the Pro Controller.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, that has a D-pad. I don't know. Okay.
No, that's the other reason I play with that one.
Yeah. So I guess if you want a D-pad that bad, but I know also
I gotta be honest.
Hori makes one.
Hori makes one too. But if you want, like, one of the other problems with it is the fucking what was the colors?
You don't like them?
Gray, yellow, and blue. Like, random assortment of colors. Not like any primaries. Not any, like, super nice. Like, in my head, I'm like, is this some sort of weird version of the iPhone colors? Like, there's a gray, there's a space gray, there's a yellow, and there's a blue.
Hold on. Like, when you say no primarily colors, you mean, like, because the blue is like an off blue and the yellow is like a weird.
It's a weird light yellow, like it's getting closer to white,
Yeah, I don't understand why, like, their company is, like, branded with red everywhere and they don't have a red just Switch, like, or like just give me a Switch with, like, 2 red Joy-Cons. Like, I hate the multicolored shit. I don't like that.
You honestly should just order the hundreds of ones they have on Amazon. Like, you could literally switch out
shells?
the colors. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I wanted to get those atomic purple ones to make it look
the
like
ones
the
that look like the Game Boy Advanced.
The Game Boy Color. Yeah, same thing.
SP.
Yeah. I did see a mock-up though. Somebody had, like, mocked up the game, the Nintendo Switch Lite to look like an old Game Boy.
Yeah.
And it had Link's Awakening, like, on the screen, like, photoshopped on.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that'd be perfect. Like, the Nintendo Switch Lite comes out on September 20th. Mm-hmm. And so does Link's Awakening, whatever the fuck they're calling this new one, Switch. Link's Awakening Switch. So, like, that would be perfect, Mm-hmm. It originally came out on Game Boy, so just make it like an old fucking Game Boy or something,
I mean, there is a third version the fourth version of Nintendo Switch Lite. That's I believe there is a special edition Pokemon one that's coming out as well.
Oh, there's a Pokemon one too, yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody cares about that. Whatever.
Nobody cares about Pokemon? Are you sure?
No, there's some big controversy over Pokemon right now.
What controversy?
I don't know if you know about this tree. Did you hear about this tree?
I did not hear about a tree.
There's this trailer where they show off some battles, and there's a tree in the background, and everyone's upset because the tree looks like trash. And it basically doesn't look like it fits into the Pokemon world. It looks like a normal, it looks like a normal tree. Like,
what a stupid thing to complain about.
Yeah. But also, like, after the fact, there's been, like, so it's not going to have the full Pokedex, and you won't be able to import, like, every Pokemon and stuff. So basically, people are saying, like, this version is, like, lazy or something, which
or maybe they're adding it later.
Well, I'm not partial to Pokemon at all. I'm pretty much just like, I don't give a shit about it, right?
Right.
Give them a break. There's like 9,000 Pokemon at this point. Like people wanted the fucking Switch, like, Pokemon game. I don't know anybody that bought Pokemon Pikachu or Eevee. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know. This is the one you're waiting for, right? Pokemon fans, like,
I mean, it seemed like everybody was on board with this. I don't know if they actually were, but it didn't definitely seem like everybody was like, yeah.
You're gonna fucking buy it, guys. Just
say it.
Yeah, just do it already. You're gonna get the special edition pink, blue one or whatever the fuck it is. But I made a small purchase.
When you say small, is that over $300?
No, I mean emphasis on the word small. I got a PlayStation Classic. It is a teeny. Yeah, Honey, I Shrunk the Sony. It's a little
$80 worth.
No.
What?
Best Buy had this crazy sale, and it went all the way down to $20. That's the lowest I've ever seen it. So I was playing fucking how low will it go with this fucking Sony Classic, because I was at first like the biggest price drop it went to was like $50. Then I was like, you know what? I got a feeling it's gonna go lower. It's gonna go lower, and
of course it's gonna go lower.
Yeah, it was $40 at one point on the Target like Cartwheel app or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then finally $24.99. I was like, we can go lower. We can go lower. And lo and behold, it went down to $20 free shipping at Best Buy, and I was like, "That's what I was waiting."
Free shipping?
That's what I was waiting for. Yeah, I only paid like tax, so it was like 21 something.
Oh damn!
But honestly, it's fucking awesome, dude. Like, I love these little consoles. I was hoping to get this one. I just didn't want to pay a lot of money for it because the games on it are not like. I mean, they don't have Nintendo's library, right? So they got a lot of weird games on it. But it has Final Fantasy VII. Obviously, I want to play that. It's got... Let me see.
Well, I'll tell you what it doesn't have. It doesn't have Crash. It doesn't have Jackson Daxter.
It doesn't have Spyro. Like, they're like these classic games it doesn't have. Tony Hawk... I actually thought Tony Hawk was on it. It's not.
No, it's not.
But they have Metal Gear. Okay, that's a big one.
They don't have Siphon Filter?
They do have Siphon Filter, and they have Resident Evil 1.
Okay, but do they have one of the best and most impressive games on the PlayStation 1, Jumpin' Jack Flash?
They have Jumpin' Flash. They do. Yeah, so I was going through and I was playing some of these games, right?
What's the frame rate like?
I mean, it's about as good as a PlayStation fucking game will be.
Oh, damn. I figured they would give it a little more juice.
No, I know you said that about the Nintendo too. You were just like, maybe they'll fix like some of the lag issues in some games, but no.
Nope, we still got lag on those
I
things.
think they're dedicated to having it emulate exactly as it used to play or whatever. So, but I play a little bit of Grand Theft Auto. That game is hard to go back to. I tried to play a little bit of what was it, Rainbow Six. Mm-hmm. That game is fucking trash. The point is, though, I was just trying to go back and play games that I hadn't already played, because it's like once I start playing Final Fantasy, I'm stuck there, right?
Right.
Okay. Surprisingly, Ridge Racer is really fun, dude.
It's Ridge Racer.
Dude, it's really good.
Ridge Racer.
That's right. The classic. the meme. That's why it was fun. I was like, oh, this game is a fucking meme, right?
Yeah.
$599 US. It's actually surprisingly fucking good.
Well, that's
like,
yeah, it's good.
For the first like type of like racing game out there, I guess.
Yeah.
The drifting feels really good. Like, graphics look really nice. Like, it's really endearing to go back to a game like that and see what they were trying to do as far as like realistic graphics, you know? Like, and all the settings are in like Japan. So you're getting to see. It's almost like
in Japan. You mean Japanese?
Sorry, I don't mean the actual settings. I mean the actual locations, like the races. The tracks are in Japan.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and the music's good. It's got a lot of pluses, dude. I really enjoy it, and I didn't think I would, because trying to get me to play a racing game like when I was a little kid, I was like, fuck off. I remember watching Ernie play Tokyo Extreme Racer 2, and I was like, I do not see the appeal of this game, but
But you played a lot of Midnight Club too. That's for damn sure. Because we would go online with it.
Yeah, that's because that game had like those glitches and stuff.
That's such a stupid reason to go online.
Dude, that was one of the best parts of that game. Was like the online community.
Yeah.
It was like basically you guys just drive around, do whatever the fuck you want. But like the coolest part was like when you met somebody and they're just like, oh, put your car right here on like this. It was like the sewers or something.
Yeah.
Or like, what are those called? The fucking, not the sewers, but like the things that fill up with rain.
Oh, the rain gutters. Like the sewer openings to the rain gutters.
Yeah, like where people drive in fucking movies and shit.
Yeah.
Like you put your car there like on a slant and your car will go flying into the air. I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
I remember one of those was near a construction site, and what you did was you stuffed your car, like there was a metal beam sticking out, and if you stuck your car under the metal beam and you pushed it into a certain area, the game would glitch out and throw your car into the air like 1,000,000 miles.
And see, back then they didn't just patch shit. You know,
Which
that
they,
was in there. That was in there for good.
I-
Like so.
It's so stupid.
I remember. I remember like the only game they patched actually was like Halo 2. When Halo 2 first came out,
They patched that game?
yeah, there was something about because I remember always watching like these cool like glitch videos, and there was the plasma bombs would detonate faster once they patched it. So they basically that was the only thing they fixed, yeah. But it's like I don't know if you ever saw those videos where like people would throw a plasma grenade at another one,
Mm-hmm.
and one the one on the floor would explode and it would cause the other one to hop. And they would
Oh, yeah.
and they would splice these together to make it look like it fucking like flies throughout the level. It's pretty cool. Whatever. But yeah. So PlayStation Classic, if you can get it for $20,
$20 apparently is the highest
Dude.
Steven will go.
it is great, dude. I'm having a great time with it. We watched some movies, obviously.
Well, yeah.
We watched the biggest blockbuster of the summer.
I don't know if you would call it the blockbuster of the summer, Steve. I think it's just nice. It's a nice movie.
It did really well at the box office.
It did. You're right.
Yeah. So me and Ernie saw Spider-Man. We actually went to go see this together, which was pretty nice because we usually don't have like a fucking free day to do anything.
Right.
But it was just like this. I think it was right after July 4th, right?
Yeah, July 5th.
Yeah.
The wife had to go to work. I got the day off, and then the kid went to daycare.
I played hooky just so I could watch this movie. But oh man,
It's
I
crazy
loved it.
because we went in there like Steven was like, I was getting the tickets because it was like I think it was Tuesday night, and I was like, hey, do you want to go see Spider-Man? Like we'll just go to an early matinee show, and he's like, shh, good luck getting tickets. Are
That's
there
what I
tickets
thought,
available? I don't know. And I was like, do you want to go or not? And he's like, check if the tickets are available. And then the next message was like, all right, I got the tickets, 10 a.m. Nobody's
like, okay.
going on at 10 a.m. to watch Spider-Man Far From Home. They just aren't.
I said, all right, Ernie, go pick them up. Make sure they're real. All right, go
Make
sit
sure
down
you
in
get
the
scalped.
Yeah, did you go to the seat? Can you feel the seat? All right,
I
I'll
even
meet
went
you
as
there.
far as reserving seats in that theater, and I was like, we're gonna get dead center. We're gonna be dope. And it was like maybe 10 people in that showing.
I honestly do not understand movie theaters. Like, that theater was pretty empty. It was impossible to get tickets to like the theater right by my house. We had to go to like another one.
You mean Norwalk 20?
Yeah, I didn't want to, dox myself, but yeah, that's the Norwalk 20. It's always fucking packed. That's like the theater people want to go to because it has recliners. It's like the nicer one.
Okay.
So we basically just went to like this other one that's like just smaller basically, and I guess people, they were just, I don't know, they didn't want to see it.
They need recliners now. You can't just go to the movies, man. You need recliners. By the way, those tickets were fucking cheap. It was like $6 for each ticket. It was so cheap.
It was the ass crack of dawn. It was like
It was 10 a.m.
Yeah, it's pretty early. I don't know. Yeah, I guess not. But like for a movie, that's kind of early, right? I don't know.
What's funny is like, you say the ass crack of dawn, but I literally like went to drop off the kid, and went to go return a rental car. We went to Starbucks, and then we went to the movies. So I thought, oh man, it's like halfway through the day already.
Yeah, I was like, I was hoping that I'd be able to take my coffee in there, but I don't know about these. I don't know if it's like a mom and pop movie theater. I don't know if they're really strict about that.
Considering you only have 10 customers, I think it's fine.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we saw the movie, and I loved it. I loved it.
I was really surprised about how much I loved it, honestly.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, do yourself a favor and go watch it. Then come back here.
Yeah. Big spoilers that Tony Stark is dead. That's so.
That is a big spoiler actually, because one of my friends had not seen Endgame.
Are you serious?
And I was trying not to spoil anything for him, but I was like, maybe you should watch Endgame before you watch this movie.
Isn't that part of the trailer? Like, remember when the trailer came out for Arkham? It was like, if you haven't watched, hey guys, it's Tom Holland, Spider-Man.
He doesn't watch trailers. He does not care. He just goes, yeah. Anyway, he got into the theater and he was like, well, I guess all these dudes died, huh? Because the movie starts with the slideshow commemorating all the fallen heroes. And apparently they think that Captain America's dead, even though we saw that he was alive at the end of. So I guess he's just in hiding.
He's
Or
old. He's gone. He's not Captain America anymore. He might as well be dead.
I was gonna say, like, am I to assume he's so old he couldn't even move, like when he was sitting on that fucking log or whatever?
No, but I think he's just retired. So it's like what they think is that, because remember, not everybody knows it's Steve Rogers. Like, they don't know who he is, but they know Captain America.
That's true. Yeah.
So they probably just think, oh, he's no longer God, because remember, he was Captain America back in the 40s or whatever, what time period he is. That's when he was Captain America.
Okay, so it starts off with that slideshow, and they're talking about what they call the blip, which is apparently the snap when everybody comes back.
I thought the blip. Wait, I thought the blip is when they all came back.
That's what I just said.
No,
the snap, the Tony Stark snap, when they all came back.
Oh, so you're saying the snap is when they all went away, and the blip is when they come back?
No, I'm saying the people that call the snap the blip did not experience it. They didn't know that Thanos even existed.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
They call it the blip because they're just like, what the fuck? This just happened. How did you feel about that? I feel like they took like a comical kind of like approach to explaining how, like, I guess people just reappear. Because in my head, I'm like, yeah, go for it.
I think the way they did it is the way they did it that way is because how would high schoolers deal with it?
Okay.
So not only does it give you a good sense of where people are, but it's like, how are high schoolers dealing with it? Because that's kind of the mindset of the entire movie. It's like, this is a high schoolers movie.
Yeah, actually, Kevin Smith said that this is like, he was comparing it to a lot of high school films. And he said like it was cool because it was like a high school film and superhero film.
Right.
And I was hearing a lot of people saying, too, that it was really funny. Like, they thought it was actually, like, a really funny movie.
It really was.
Yeah, I like it. I think, and I think a lot of that is their casting choices. Like, I like Ned, and I like Betty, and I like Peter Parker, obviously.
Right.
But, yeah, I thought it was weird just because I'm like, there's got to be some guy that blipped back into the street and got hit by a car, right? There's no way that didn't happen. Or, like, I don't know.
Like he was having a heart attack, and then he went away, and then came back and finished the heart attack.
Yeah,
as soon
or
as
like.
He got back. But here's the weird thing about the blip too.
Yeah.
People that came back, and they still aged. So they were aged 4 years, or however long.
They came back the same age. People that stayed for the 5 years obviously aged the 5 years.
Is that what it was? Because that part was a little fuzzy to me, because they kind of just threw it out there with a little bit of a. Like, the people are reporting on it. So I was like...
So that's why Peter and MJ and Ned, all of them, came back the same age. But that little Asian kid that they left behind grew up, and he was like a hot, throbbing guy or whatever.
Yeah. Also, they said, hey, how is it that we're still 4 years older, but we still can't drink?
Oh, they said that?
Yeah, one of the kids was like saying that. I was like, oh, that's funny. Ha, ha, ha. So, little Asian kid joke. I like that one. That was a good joke.
Okay. I don't... Okay, whatever. Anyway. So they all came back. Funnily enough, all the important characters were snapped away and then snapped back so that they can all consistently age together. I did think that there were parts of this movie that used unnecessary CG. So, like, they're going on this trip, right? Peter's in a bus. He gets these glasses that are called Edith. Even dead, I'm the hero. That's what Tony Stark named these glasses because he's a funny man. There's a shot where he jumps out the top of the bus and uses like his web shooters. Yeah, and it's completely CG. And I was like,
"It's not, Steve."
Are you sure?
You know how I know that?
How?
So I meant to tell you that when I saw it, but my friend Meredith, she's like super into all this stuff. So she gets this RSS feed from all these different people. And then Tom Holland literally has there's a shot. I don't know if he just left his cell phone like where he jumps from the bus. He either left it on the floor or whatever, but he recorded the part where he jumps out of the bus. He extends his fingers like he's shooting web, and then like drops back down, and it's all on a green screen, and they have high motion cameras and everything. So that wasn't CG. That was real.
You're saying he himself wasn't CG?
Yeah, but like the surrounding area, like where they were, that was like a green screen, but like him doing the stunt was not.
It looked really strange then for some reason.
It was probably the green screen, honestly.
There was a couple of shots though that were for sure like where he was swinging around without the costume on,
right?
Where you could tell it was CG, and I think it's because we're used to seeing him in the suit, you know. So just trying to recreate Peter, you know, in full CG is kind of hard,
right?
And I understand that. So whatever, I'm just, you know, give him a break. I get it. But those are honestly my only real gripes with the movie. I really liked everything about it. It didn't feel long. It was basically like action packed the whole way through.
Yes.
I guess I will say that I guess him and MJ kind of just like each other right away.
Well, like it's implied that she has, even since the first movie, has like been watching him.
Right.
Because so in the movie, one of the big revelations is that MJ basically figures out that Peter is Spider-Man.
Yes.
Because Peter's like, he wants to tell her he likes her and wants to start dating her. And in the course of that, she kind of tells, like, he's supposed to bring her somewhere and tell her that, and he has this big plan to tell her that at the Eiffel Tower. And then when they actually get together, she cuts him off and says, "You're Spider-Man, right? That's what you wanted to tell me?" And he's like, "Oh." And he's like, "No, that's not true, blah, blah, blah." But she confesses, basically, that she's been watching him.
Yeah, and
ever since.
Thinks,
and he's like,
thinks, "Oh, that's why you were watching me,
because I'm Spider-Man." Oh, yeah. No.
And then they have that nervous, like, "No, yeah, sure, yeah, whatever." Yeah, a lot of people... to be fair, a lot of people were just saying, like, that's what high school is. Kids fall in love, like, in a week and whatnot, and it's like... So, yeah, I do get that.
I like the development of their relationship, because it feels like it did start somewhere genuine, like they were just friends, but then, like, she genuinely started looking at him because she told him, "You always disappear, you're always gone when there's trouble, and then you magically reappear afterwards." So she was inclined to look at him, and now this kind of intrigued her more, and this is what kind of led them to like each other.
I will say that the actors themselves seem to have a very good chemistry. Like, them on screen, like, seemed very believable to me. And I even
think that Ned and his, like, there's another spoiler, is that Ned and his, like, trip girlfriend, I don't know what you would call that, but is like, they're going on
his summer fling.
His summer fling, like, they had a very funny relationship.
Yeah.
And it felt natural, honestly.
Yeah. So I guess that character's name is Betty. And
she was the one that did the kids news or whatever in the very beginning.
Yeah, I guess in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, she's Jay Jonah's, like, assistant at the Daily Bugle.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
The one with the short, like, haircut that acts kind of flirty with Toby sometimes.
Wasn't that Elizabeth Banks? Am I crazy? No.
You are crazy. Okay. Or maybe it was. It just kind of looks like her, huh? I don't really remember.
I can't think of who
I don't think she was alive then. Anyway, well, what I was gonna say was, in the original comic books too, I guess she also worked at the Daily Bugle. So in this version of Spider-Man, she just goes to high school with Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads me to believe that they're gonna do whatever the fuck they want with whatever character they want. Because, like, MJ is just, what is her name, Michelle?
Mm-hmm.
But she says, "Oh, my friends call me MJ." So I don't think.
Well, listen, we got
exist,
a Spider-Man Iron Man suit. That's essentially what we have here. I think we've thrown the playbook out already.
Yeah, and what I was getting at was that me and Ernie had this theory that, or not theory, but, like, I guess, wouldn't it be cool if they made that Asian kid Venom? You know, because he seems to have some motive. You know. Yeah,
because, like, he stole Mary. Like, within the story, essentially, Peter is trying to get some time in with Mary Jane or MJ. while they're going around in Europe, and the Asian guy's like, "I like her too, so it's all fair," blah blah blah. And then after MJ and Peter start dating, he's like, he's like, why is Peter always gone? Like, I caught him with a prostitute, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's kind of obsessed with him. And I was like, what's that kid's name? And blah, blah, blah. Because he sounds like the perfect candidate for somebody like Eddie Brock. Just a person that's jealous of Spider-Man.
And that's what we were saying, too, is that, like, it could be a thing where they're just like, oh, he gets the nickname Brock or something, you know? And it doesn't even have to be Eddie Brock anymore. Now it could just be like this. Because they did the same thing with MJ, so, you know, like, and I don't know. It's fun to theorize.
And like, do you want to hear my theory on how they're going to do Venom?
Let's hear all the theories.
Okay, so so the theory that I'm having is because of how they did Spider-Man's suit and because of how this whole thing kind of played out, I don't think they're actually going to do the Venom suit the way they did in the comic books at all. Like, if they do end up doing it in this franchise, I think they'll find a way to do it on their own, like their own spin of it. And my version, or I should say my fan theory version of it, is the suit that Peter has all these different has like software and its hardware, right? So what if Peter tried to create a suit that had its own AI built in that he tried to make, right? But just like with any of Tony Stark's creations,
like Ultron.
Yeah, exactly. It turns on him somehow because he tries to power it with some weird element or something that he found, or maybe something from the Marvel universe that we haven't thought of. Then he tries to power the suit. That sounds pretty solid. Yeah, so he tries to power it that way. It actually changes the pigmentation of the suit to black because because that somehow, like, I don't know, absorbs more energy from the sun. I don't know. They'll think of something to be like, look, it absorbs energy, so you don't need to power the suit. Blah blah blah.
You know, Ernie, I was already sold on it. You don't even have to explain the science of it to me. I'm giving you money already.
All right. But what's cool about it is it's based off Tony Stark's suit from Endgame, the nanobite technology.
Yeah, because it's basically just like a cream that.
Exactly. It's like, so what's gonna happen is that Peter's gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe I built this thing, and he tries to destroy it, but because of it's a nanotech technology, he needs to make sure he gets every single one, or else they replicate.
That would be cool if it was
you
know what? That's like a Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
You remember those little robots that
exactly
you like to play with?
Those things. But imagine one of those gets away, and in a very similar version to the way Spider-Man was bit, like a nanobite will just attach itself to another host and then start replicating. Yeah, and so that will create the other thing, but it'll have all of the files on Peter already. So instead of having Peter's memory and Peter's whatever, it'll just have all the settings of being Spider-Man already built in.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid, Ernie. I gotta say.
Instead of having Tom Hardy, right?
Well, a lot of people were saying, like, if they wanted to introduce Sony's version of Venom into the MCU, they could literally just take the Venom symbiote and leave Tom Hardy in his universe. That's kind of like, oh, this crossed over from a multiverse. Let's check out what it is instead of it coming from space or on J. Jonah's son's whatever. Right? Which is like, okay, whatever. Me, honestly, as of right now, I'm kind of like, I don't even need Venom, dude. I don't even fucking care, honestly. Like, I understand Venom's like a staple, but like, his appearance to me is a little bit like he's hardcore Todd McFarlane 90s like Spawn. Like, I don't want to say outdated, you know, but he is kind of just like, he's kind of gimmicky, right? Like he's just Spider-Man but black. Like,
right, but it's, I mean, Spider-Man was Venom was always sold on the fact that he is essentially just Peter's dark side. Yeah. If Peter just did whatever he wanted.
You're right. I get that. Like,
but him on his own, that's where you start to run into problems because he's like an anti-hero. So how do you read a comic about an anti-hero, you know? That's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So, just real quick to wrap up the movie, right?
Right.
Unless you have any other, like, big plot points you want to talk about. they're fighting these things that are called elementals. They all seemingly are like these references to Spider-Man villains as well.
Mm-hmm.
The first one that pops up is like this dirt creature,
Right.
and he flips over this car, and there's a license plate on it that's like ASM some issue, and it's like Amazing Spider-Man that issue. It's the first appearance of Sandman.
Right.
So it's like they have all these little references to like uh, other Spider-Man villains that were a little too wacky, I think, to put in the MCU. And I want to say that that's their way of just kind of pleasing the fans with that, you know?
Well, okay. So, if you remember in the movie, they don't talk about Sandman. They just say the creature just attacks and then.
No, I was just saying, I was just pointing out that license plate because I think that was supposed to be him.
No. I understand, but like, so, just to fill everybody in, like, Nick Fury and Colby Smulders are heading around because now there's these 4 elementals attacking, and the person helping them defeat these things is Mysterio,
Right.
which Peter ends up naming. But what I was going to say is one of the elementals is water. And during, like, as a really brief mention, while Peter's walking into this little command center that they have going, they said, he's like, where do these elementals come from? And then they said, well, there was a scientist who was experimenting with water morphing, blah, 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 blah. And they say that really quick. And then Mysterio comes in and says, no, these elementals are from my planet, blah, blah, blah. Like, he starts giving a spiel. But I think they're actually nodding towards Hydro Man. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, when that water elemental appears, there's another license plate with, like, first appearance of Hydro Man or whatever.
Oh, really?
And and the same thing with the lava guy.
Who's the lava guy?
There's apparently an enemy called Molten Man in the Spider-Man universe.
Oh my god.
So he's like, yeah. Anyway, so we got Mysterio here. There's a really clever way of him being named as well, which is like they're in, where are they? They're in Italy.
At the time, they're in Venice. Yeah, Italy.
Yeah, and so they're calling him like El Mysterio, and it's like, oh, and that's how he gets named, and it's like, dude, that's so fucking clever, because like, you know,
it's an Italian word that means mysterious, mystery.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was actually like, oh shit, that's crazy, but that's where you get the first hint of Jake Gyllenhaal being a fraud as well, because right after Peter says they're calling him El Mysterio, the next time they see him, he says he references Mysterio. And he says, like, oh, yeah, call me Mysterio. That's my name now. Like, I like that.
It gives him a little wink. It gives him a little
and he's like a little cocky look, you know, like he might be evil. He might kill people. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, they find out that projectors exist.
Right.
and so now Peter has to do...
It's not just projectors, because they do this really good job of calling back to Iron Man 2. Or, sorry, Captain America Civil War, where they show like, oh, when I showed my technology of this projector stuff
that's right, the barf
to
stuff.
Tony, he used it as a toy, and it flashes back to when Tony like relived the moment with his parents, the day before they left, and then he goes like, oh, this is just a $7,000 or $7 million toy, and then supposedly Jake Gyllenhaal was there, and he's like, you called my invention a toy?
Yeah, which was really clever, I thought, you know, because it's not just... this whole movie was about, like, Iron Man being gone, Peter having to deal with it, and now it's him physically, like, inheriting his debts, you know, and that comes with the grudges as well. He's inheriting the grudges that these people have with him, which I thought was really clever because, like, I don't know, I was just really shocked at how... Like, it's like you give Mysterio that name in that clever way, and now you're tying Mysterio in perfectly with, like, this Iron Man stuff. Like, it just feels, like, so not shoehorned into the franchise, you know? Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. It
feels like everything else that Tony's ever made, there's always a bad side to it.
Yeah.
You know, like Ultron and, like, all his, like, Iron Man suits and all this. Like, there's always been a flip side to everything he's done.
I'm going to expect this level of quality, though, when the next one comes out. It needs to be, like, just as integrated as Mysterio is, because this movie was really well crafted as far as that goes. Like, I was really impressed. Like, it felt really believable to me. Um, so real fast, they go and they're fighting on. Remember, the last scene of this movie happens on a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but I just saw the cartoon episode where Mysterio first appears,
Mm-hmm.
and he fights him on a bridge at the end.
Okay.
So I wonder if that's like I wonder if originally he fought him on a bridge in the comic book or something, and this is just some like nod to it. Um, but yeah, Spider-Man's in the last elemental, and he's taking down all the projectors and stuff. And Mysterio has this ability to create these fucking crazy ass illusions,
Right.
obviously. And I think the highlight of the movie for me was like that scene where he's just basically everything that Peter's looking at is fake, down to like Samuel L. Jackson driving him to this building and like putting him in this room and then getting shot and all this shit. Like, I was like fucking blown away. I was like, man, they're really going nuts with these effects. Like, it's going crazy. Which was a really cool scene. They got to play around with a lot of like the shape of his head.
Yeah.
It became like a snow globe at one point. It was a trippy scene.
You know what's crazy too? Like, they made a point to show that the orb that he wears on his head,
Yeah.
it's there because it's supposed to spatially tell him where he is within the illusion. So the dome represents the where the illusion sits, and he can kind of look inside of it in 3D to show and like control it.
It's like VR, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
actually,
like a Omni, like, so he can just look around and see with his own eyes, and like that projects the image to him.
It was cool too because I was watching some videos about like the concept art that they used to make this movie and stuff, and they were all like, "We tried other helmets, but nothing looks like Mysterio unless it's a fucking ball, like a fish bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's Mysterio's look." And all I could think about was, like, if you had given this script to, like, the fucking 90s directors that did X-Men, like Bryan Singer and all that,
It would have been a fishbowl.
He would have, no, I'm saying he would have not had a fishbowl. He would have been some guy, like, in some dumb-looking mask. Like, the fact that they stayed true to, like, the iconic silhouette that Mysterio has...
Yeah.
And it was like faithfully represented on the big screen was fucking amazing to me. Like, down to those little eyes that he has on his cape, like the way they're held on with like these little like Illuminati style like eyes,
which were projectors as well.
Yeah, and then at one point during the illusion they like blink, which looks pretty cool. Like, apparently like on his chest too, like there's like little subtle M's.
Yeah.
Like they're supposed to look like abs, but they actually look like M's too.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I was just like the costume design, like obviously it's fucking brilliant. But I was just really surprised that they went with a fishbowl. And he looks so cool, dude. I love how it's always fogged up in there and like you can't see his face.
It looks like that's part of it where it's like it's a mask without being a mask. The fog kind of doesn't let you see who he is. What I thought was cool was some people were saying like, now that you know that Mysterio is evil, which who didn't see that coming? But if you watch the movie again, you'll find Mysterio in different places where he's like messing with you. So like right when Peter lands, or when he gets to Berlin, when he's walking around the train station, you can see Jake Gyllenhaal in the background walking around before he gets in the car with quote unquote Nick Fury.
Oh really?
Yeah. And I saw that picture that somebody took. I was like, dang, that's cool. Like now you can look and see if you can see any hints.
Yeah, I can't wait. This is definitely a movie that like I can't wait till it comes out on Blu-ray because I want to own it.
Oh, same here.
Like,
same here. Honestly, like the best part of this movie though was at the very end. Like, you know how they have the ending and then they have the post-credit sequence. So, do you mind if I take them through that? I wanted to mention that now.
I just wanted to mention real quick. I hadn't noticed that he really hadn't used his spider sense. Mm-hmm. And it was just cool that in this movie, it was basically him training his spider sense.
Peter Tingle.
Yeah, and he was finally able to see through the illusions thanks to one of his abilities, basically.
And it feels like he's training, like, to use them, which is kind of neat.
he's becoming the Spider-Man. Uh, and that last illusion got me. I would have gotten shot in the head.
Totally.
I totally would have got shot in the head. I would have died. It was crazy too because he was just gonna shoot him. He just when Peter grabs the gun, it goes off. Like he was gonna shoot him. He was just straight up gonna kill Peter. That was life or death. It was insane to me.
Which is funny because he himself was already dead. Like in terms of there was no way nobody was gonna save him. He was dead, but he was like, I'm gonna kill Peter, which explains what the actions of Mysterio at the end of the movie are.
Yeah, and also some guy downloaded like the illusions or something
and took off.
Yeah, so
I believe it's the scientist that they called out from Iron Man 1.
Yeah, but they were saying like Mysterio was all of them. Remember when they're in the bar and he's just like, "Let's hear it from Mysterio," and they were clapping and stuff.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, any one of those people can just wear the mask, right? And just
That's
become
true.
The next Mysterio or whatever. But yeah, Ernie, go ahead and take us through the final scene because this is my favorite part of the movie. Actually.
Yeah, it seriously was. So Peter's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take MJ out on a date," and like classic Spider-Man style, he takes her web slinging. And
it really was classic, man.
Yeah.
As much as I love the movie, them swinging through New York was so like, oh god, this is awesome.
So classic.
Like, classic fucking Spidey, dude.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Keep going.
So that's happening, but right before that, they kind of wink at the fact that look, he's gonna start taking pictures of himself because he's on his phone, but he starts taking like selfies of himself swinging around. I was like, oh, maybe he's gonna be a photographer for something. Anyway.
Yeah.
He gets there, he takes her out swinging, and she fucking hates it. She's like, right. I'm never going to do that again, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, well, it was fun the first time, blah, blah, blah. And then he jumps up on a light pole, and then all of a sudden, you see fucking J. Jonah Jameson himself.
Right.
What's the actor's name again?
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons is back playing
oh my god.
Jonah Jameson. But his show is called The Daily Bugle, but I kid you not, is like a dead ringer for that Alex Jones InfoWars thing.
Yeah, it's like dailybugle.net. It's J. Jonah Jameson, but he's bald.
Yeah.
So he looks a little bit different.
He looks more like Alex Jones.
But it's fucking J.K. Simmons, dude.
And then
everyone's favorite Jonah.
That was amazing. First of all, me and Steven looked at each other and we're like, yes. We actually cheered just for J. Jonah Jameson, but then like the bomb is dropped that Mysterio recorded this message that makes Peter look like he shot him to death.
Right.
And so you're like, what the hell? And then he says, and Spider-Man's secret identity is Peter Parker. And he shows his picture. And then at the end, Peter just literally goes, what? And like holds his head, and then boom, it cuts to the movie. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I did not expect that to happen.
So, there's little nods to like Tony Stark in this movie, and a lot of people are comparing like Jake Gyllenhaal himself to Tony Stark,
right?
Especially when he puts on the glasses, so he's kind of like an evil Tony Stark.
Gotcha.
So I like to think of that last little bit as him saying, "Even dead, I'm the villain," because he died.
Even dead, so it's Edith.
Yeah, because he had that foresight like Tony, where he's just like, if I'm gonna die, or if this is gonna be my last mission, I need to have something to kind of carry on my my work or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty insane. Into the Jonahverse. I was extremely surprised to see that. I actually feel like that's unheard of, right? Like they don't do that in the MCU. Like
transplant old characters into their new stuff. That's ridiculous,
right?
That is true. They don't really do that. I mean, I was expecting right after that Bruce Campbell to show up and be like, "Hey, Spider-Man."
Yeah. What's your name, kid? The human spider? That's all you got? Anyway, I'm really excited to see the next one, and I think that goes without saying.
I don't think this will be resolved in this movie, because if I've learned anything about if his character has said anything, it's that some of his biggest revelations are in other movies. So like the
Okay.
way that Spider-Man was introduced was in a different movie. Then he got his own movie, and then he was a big part of like Infinity War. So
Yeah.
I feel like whatever movie they're gonna do to kick off the new phase of Marvel is gonna have
Yeah.
him as a main support, because remember, he is now like, he's essentially Tony Stark to everybody,
Yeah.
because everybody, the whole movie's like, you're the new Tony Stark, right? And he's like, I don't feel like the new Tony Stark. And then
Yeah.
like,
Well.
there's a scene in the movie right before he fights Mysterio where he's like, you need a new suit, right? And like, I guess there's a mobile suit maker in the back of this plane that he's traveling to fight Mysterio with, and
Yeah,
it
Hogan's
very
jet.
much mimics when Iron Man first created his Iron Man suit.
He puts his hand in the gauntlet. And
Yeah, and then he even hits the spider to spin it, and then Happy's like, let me take care of the music, and he starts, what does he start playing? He starts
He
playing
starts Back in Black, which is
Back
the
in
first
Black,
song
he's
that
like,
plays in Iron
and then
Man.
Peter goes, oh, I love Led Zeppelin, and everybody in the
Right.
movie went,
Yeah, everyone. Oh,
because he's stupid.
That's
But-
Black Sabbath.
Because he's kind of the new Tony Stark, I think people will come up, like, I think his decisions will mark the new wave of superheroes, essentially.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense. I hope they start doing like a Spider-Verse thing. I would really
you know what I
hope
think
so.
they're going to do? They're going to do X-Men. I think that's what they're doing
Yeah.
next.
Well, this podcast is kind of recorded at like the shittiest time during the week because Comic-Con is starting this week and Marvel's gonna unveil like their Phase 4 plans
Yeah.
and all that. All we know so far is that Thor #4
It's coming out.
is coming. Yeah, it's coming back with Taika Waititi. So, if you were a fan of Ragnarok, I think you're gonna like the next one. And also, people are saying that they've hinted at Kraven the Hunter, which is part of the Sinister Six, right? That's part of
Yeah.
Spider-Man's villains. And they were saying that he might be Wakandan, or Wakandian. So it might be like
all because of the necklace? Is that it?
No, I don't know why, but I was kind of like, "Hey, that's cool." Like, if he is, that would make sense. Other than like, because he is kind of cheesy in the cartoon.
Well, I mean, it would make sense too, because like the way that he dresses and the philosophy of the people of Wakanda. Like, if you've ever watched Black Panther, one of the tribes is very much kind of like, we're from the earth, we live off the land, blah blah blah.
Yeah, they're
They
like
wear
indigenous
furs,
people, right?
and their biggest, the way that they determine their worth is how well they hunt. So
Right.
I mean, that would make a lot of sense.
I think people were saying that too because Black Panther 2 is supposed to be part of Phase 4.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some other ones too that were like supposedly lined up. Like,
I know Doctor Strange 2 is happening.
Doctor Strange 2. I'm very
Doctor
excited.
Strange 2 is happening. Guarantee
that.
it.
The Inhumans was also on there, but I was like, wasn't that like a TV show already or something? So
I don't know.
But yeah, we're excited to see what Comic-Con has to announce. We very much are. Not sarcasm. Anything else you would like to add, Ernie? I think we're running out of time here. Oh, I saw Toy Story. Toy Story.
I think we'll say that for next time. But one thing I did want to mention is I started playing Yakuza 0.
Okay,
Which
how
is
do you
not
like it?
is not the most current one. The most current one is 6, and it's like 6 has been split into 2 games. So I haven't necessarily got that one, but during the Steam sale that happened during the summer, or like the beginning of the summer, I bought Yakuza 0 and a bunch of other ones. So I am playing this one as my first one, and I gotta be honest, like, I'm missing a lot of the nods, because a lot of the gameplay is like, there's this fortune teller later, he's like, you will bump into someone who will be with you the rest of your life. And then I'm like, cool, and I bump into this kid with blonde hair, and then it says, the dragon has awoken, as like your achievement or whatever. I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Well,
So
you're starting at. If you're starting at 0, just keep playing.
Okay, well, I guess I will. But I gotta say, that series, I mean, if this series is any indication of how the series is, I feel like I'm just playing a drama with some fighting in it.
It's basically like a lot of people consider it like the successor to Shenmue.
It very much feels like that.
It's got that kind of, how do I say? It's got that sense of immersion. where like you really feel like you're in Japan because it's got all these little nuances and it's got all of the details that a real Japanese city would have.
Real.
Yeah, as even down to like a fully functioning arcade.
Yeah.
You have like maid cafes, you have like karaoke, you have
telephone girls.
Yeah, you have all sorts of like stuff to do in your spare time. The only difference is that Shenmue is a little more serious, or I should say, it tries to be a little more serious, whereas like Yakuza is very much in tune with its sense of humor because there's like some of those mini games that you play are just like super fucking wacky and off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Shenmue just doesn't do that. They're just they try their best to be serious, even though the game is obviously cheesy as fuck. So, yeah.
Well, so far I got to be honest. I think I'm close to 50%, if not more, because during the game you play as two characters, and I've switched already twice between the two. So I think I'm getting towards the end, and I gotta say it's I really love it because, for one, it's a serious, like the fights and everything with bosses are great. The whole thing where you have to buy up the city and control like property value and all this kind of stuff, that's fun. And then lastly, I just love running into people and having these like ridiculous side stories. Like one I could tell you is like I walk past a BDSM club, and I literally have to train one of the girls on how to disrespect or punish one of her gentlemen. Okay. And what's funny is like both of those people show up later and they're like, "Hey, you need my help?" I was like, "Sure." And then they become part of my crew. I was like, "This is a strange city."
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like Shenmue would never have that. But
no, of course Shenmue would not have BDSM.
But Yakuza is definitely in tune with its audience and you know what people like to find humorous, I should say.
But one thing that Shenmue has that Yakuza will never have is Fokusan. Yeah. Fokusan, honestly, was the only reason I used to play that game because he was so stupid. Yeah. And his name is so stupid that I was like, it's funny just to knock around Fokusan.
Also, too, like, I want to say the voice acting in Yakuza is like actually good.
I have it all in Japanese right now. I don't know if they have English subtitles in that one.
In Shenmue, it's just fucking not good. But it's hilarious. It's hilarious. So it works out.
Steve, do you know anything about the 3 Voodoo?
The 4 Voodoo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 4 Voodoo. That's part 2, actually. Man, that game's coming out too. I don't know when. But
I bought it on Steam the other day. Part 1 and 2.
Nice. We gotta play that. I was gonna say I started playing Bloodstained. I haven't played much of it, but it was also a game that was a Kickstarter that was announced relatively around the same time that Shenmue was. It's gonna be cool to see all these Kickstarter games finally come out. But I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch, and it definitely has like technicality issues because it's kind of limited. But the game is pretty awesome. I like it so far. The character designs are cool. The music's great. The levels look really cool. And like right out, like you like those old Castlevania games, right, Ernie? Because you played a lot of them. You get a shitload of weapons, dude. I was really surprised at the amount of weapons you just pick up off of regular enemies. Like,
are they necessary?
No, but it's just kind of like whatever you want to use. You know, like you can use a whip, but like the delay on it's really bad. So like you could opt to use like a little knife for like other enemies or something. You know, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's really cool, man. I gotta say I really like it, and I'm very impressed. Anytime a Kickstarter game comes out and it's like actually good, I'm like holy shit.
What's the other one you bought? Like, was it Mighty 9 that was Kickstarted?
I didn't buy that game. I bought Yooka-Laylee and I was severely disappointed. Because it's like one of these games that it's like it's trying to be like the spiritual successor to something because it's like they don't have the rights, so they gotta make like an off-brand version.
It's essentially like these places that are like, I was the lead director for Banjo-Kazooie, so I'm gonna make another Banjo-Kazooie game that's not Banjo-Kazooie.
That fucking Banjo-Kazooie had like the whole team, and somehow they didn't. Yeah, whatever. The Bloodstained guy is I always forget his name. God, I'm so good with names and I forget this guy's name. Anyway, he was the director of Symphony of the Night, so he was like the most important person to bring onto this team or whatever.
Well, he knows most of the gameplay, so that would make sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it. And I don't know how much you want to talk about Toy Story next week, but all I'm gonna say is that I enjoyed it. That's it. That's pretty much all. That's pretty much all I have to say about it.
I enjoyed it.
We could go into it more next week.
I actually saw it with my kid, and it was actually a pretty funny experience to me, kind of seeing the movie through his eyes. I guess you could say something along the lines of that, because of the way that the movie's set up and everything. It's fucking. First of all, it's fucking long. Mm-hmm. But secondly, everybody's going into this movie the same way. They're like, did they need to make another Toy Story? Really? And then once you left the theater, you're like, yeah, they kind of did. I think this movie, this story, it was a story worth telling.
Yeah, I'll say that it was worth telling. It was pretty good too, and apparently it was one of the writers was Rashida Jones.
Wow, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, did you know that?
No.
Yeah, she was one of the women. I think she was the only one actually that called out John Lasseter for that whole Me Too thing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so maybe this was kind of her like they were giving her some. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I'm not saying like they were like bribing her or something, but like
that's what Steven's saying.
They kind of like gave her a project because maybe they felt bad or something. I don't know. But it was definitely pretty cool. It was pretty funny. The only thing is that like most of the cast is like dead, right? Like Don Rickles is dead and Jim Varney's dead. They don't even talk in this movie because they're just like at the background.
No, they did. Mr. Potato Head says something in the very beginning.
Oh, he does?
But essentially what they did was they went through all of his audio and put that all together from what...
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
My God.
Somebody told me that. I was like, are you serious? He's like, that's why there's just that one line.
That seems like disrespect.
I guess if you think... Okay, so were you okay with...
I'm just kidding. It's fine. But
honestly, it's more like when they CG'd young Leia into Star Wars, and I was like, that's kind of disrespectful. But whatever.
She wasn't dead yet. She was still alive, I think.
When the movie came out?
Yeah, the one you're thinking of is what's that, General Tarkin?
Oh, Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah, he was completely CG.
That was so. Yeah, I was like, maybe just rehire somebody. Just like honestly, just hire somebody that kind of looks like him, because that's not cool.
Yeah, but it was really good. I was really disappointed that there wasn't like an animated short beforehand. I was like, what the fuck, dude? It's like half the reason I come to these movies.
Do you think they're just over that?
No, I think they just didn't have one. I think they
usually have one attached.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was kind of crazy.
But I can go more into depth into it next week. All I wanted to say was that I think the story was worth telling, and if you're gonna go watch it, you'll be very pleasantly surprised, because
I enjoyed it a lot.
I enjoyed it a whole lot. I thought all those parts were really cool, and they didn't do like where you thought they were gonna go with the story. It switches on you.
Yeah, it kind of does. And also keep in mind, I am not partial to Toy Story either, because I didn't even see Part 3. I don't give a shit about Toy Story. I was actually watching this movie, and I was like, God, I hate all these characters. But I found it entertaining, and I really liked it still, so there you go.
It's a rounding endorsement from Steven.
Well, it's because, Jesse did nothing.
I don't give two shits about Toy Story. I love it.
Jessie sounded like she was 200 years old in this movie. Anyway, I think we're good. I am at Soho Shuffle on Twitter.
And I'm at Neo Ernie on social as well.
Yes, we're Radio Toons Podcast on SoundCloud, on iTunes, on everything. Just search Radio Toons. See
Just
what
make sure
comes
you
up.
type Radio Toons Podcast, because it'll come right up if you do it that way.
Sure. Do that. Click the first link. If it's a virus, you blame Ernie, not me. Okay? But that does it for this week, guys. See you next time.
See you next week, guys.